Hello and welcome back back here to the Rena 100 show. I hope you're coming back, or maybe it's your first time. Anyway, welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about something ever so important. Rest. That's right. Taking a break. And the name of the show is aptly named Gimme a Break. Gimme a break. But first, this. All right, here is where I would normally advertise our Patreon. But what I'm going to say this week is, if you like the show and you like what you've been hearing so far, please, if you could find it in your heart, find one person you know that you think would like this show and recommend it to them. Recommendations go such a long way in terms of building an audience and a community around this show, and I'd just love to do that. So if you think you know someone that would like this show, tell them about it and send them a link. Thanks. All right, taking a break. This comes on the heels of lots of TikTok scrolling for me, and I've noticed there's kind of been a trend lately about capitalism, which, it's a recession. So, of course, we're all going crazy about capitalism and how the rate of pay isn't covering the costs of staying alive. So how are we supposed to stay alive when we don't have enough money to stay alive? The reason I bring this up is because you can't really talk about taking a break. Excuse me again. Whoa, that coffee's doing something. You can't really talk about taking a break or going on vacation or even taking one day off unless you talk about money makes the world go round. I mean, it doesn't. That's centrifugal gravity? Oh my God, I don't know science. Somebody teach me science. I had to learn it in French, and I hated French, and I was bad at science. So the combination of the two meant I don't understand anything scientific. It may as well be magic. Anyway, okay, I've sufficiently wandered so far off the point that I forget what I was saying. Right, you can't really talk about taking a break if you don't talk about money, because really being able to rest means having enough money to take the time to rest. So, yeah, how do you take a break without enough money? I don't know. Can you? Ugh, that's depressing. I guess what I'll go to now is, if any of you are familiar with Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this is why living a life just not necessarily below the poverty line, because obviously that's the worst. But let's say you're working full time and you're still only just barely making ends meet, which I think is a growing number of people in our society. The problem with that is it runs you ragged and gives you potentially disabilities from running yourself ragged. And this is because there's one of the habits of highly effective people that Stephen Covey talks about is he gives this metaphor of a saw. Let's say you're sawing a tree and you're really trying hard to saw it down, and you're sweating and you're working so hard and you just can't get that tree sawed down. Again, something I know nothing about, sawing down trees. Oh God, I really benefit from so many people's hard work. I've used so much paper and never interacted with a tree in this way. Oh God, and I really don't want them to die. And yet I've written on their corpses so many times. Okay, I guess it's especially ADD day for me. ADD day, ADD day. Oh no, this is going to be completely unlistenable. So you're sawing the tree and it's taking so much hard work, right? But then if you just took the saw for 10 seconds or however long this takes, again, something I know nothing about, and you just sharpened the saw, then it would require so much less effort to cut down that tree. And that I think is the only way to defend rest in a capitalist society, is that resting will indeed make you a more effective worker. It'll make you, sorry, the fridge turned on and now I'm distracted that there's going to be this horrible buzz. There's this metro station in Montreal called Lionel Gru, and my whole life there had been a buzz going at that metro station. I'd never noticed before until somebody pointed it out to me, and then it was all I could listen to was that buzz. And that's happening to me now, so great. Moving on. So that's how, I guess, if you're stuck in this capitalistic matrix and you're like, how can I rest when I must do? Well, it will make you more effective when you come back to doing things. If you deliberately siphon off some time and label it as rest time, it will make you more efficient, more capable in your time of doing and working. So that is a way of justifying it to yourself if you need that. And I wish we didn't all need that. We should just be able to rest every once in a while without, oh God, quantifying all our time as money all the time, as money, money, money. I also find it interesting that most of our association, or at least me, maybe you need to be born in a very specific decade for this to happen to you. But when everyone's like, I'm taking a break, the Kit Kat song runs through my head. You know the Kit Kat song. Give me a break, sing along. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Yeah. And isn't that interesting that we then associate taking a little break, a little time for ourselves with eating a sugary treat that's probably really bad for us. And then you start thinking about resting, right? Like, rest has such a bad connotation in our society that people who are taking it easy are ne'er-do-wells. Who's that lazy beach bum? What's he contributing to society, right? Why is a restful life so inherently negative? It's because we're all working and we're mad that we can't also just chill out, because it implies that that person has found an escape from the matrix, or is just a trustafarian, as some people call it. They just have a lot of money and they don't need to worry, and we resent that as well. And also, at what point is it, according to the 7 deadly sins, sloth? And is sloth so bad? It is bad. Is it bad? I don't know with myself either, because for so much of my life, I was working 2 jobs, one job that paid and one job that was my creative pursuits. And now that my creative pursuits are paying me money and I don't have a regular job, I feel like a criminal. I feel like it shouldn't be possible. Something has clearly gone horribly wrong, and I need to be out of my mind, exhausted all the time like I used to be. And that's very weird. It's also weird when people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a writer and comedian. And then they're like, what do you really do? And what they mean is, how do you make money? Because money's like the only thing that gives actions, work, it's the only thing that gives work legitimacy, isn't it? I can paint all day for myself, but if nobody's buying those paintings, I'm no painter, according to our society. Did it always work like that? I don't know. But I think it's kind of sad. That even now that I have the legitimacy, something feels amiss because I'm not suffering enough to justify the commodities that I'm given, and that it's just creative stuff that's getting me there. That just seems so anti what every adult in my life told me was possible when I was a kid. Everybody said it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen for very many people. You got to watch out. So now that it has happened, It's an odd feeling. It doesn't feel real. It does not feel real. I don't know. I mean, I think taking a break is also really important in your creative endeavors. Um, like if you're pushing and pushing and pushing to get the thing done, to get the thing out, you know, it doesn't always work well. Sometimes you need to put it on the back burner and let it marinate. And then when you come back to it, it'll have all this delicious sauce in it. This is making me hungry. I was just picturing mushrooms. God, mushrooms are so good and delicious. I have some in my fridge. I'm going to make them later. But yeah, ideas that are marinated are more full-bodied, as the mushroom is apt to be. But mushroom, you don't marinate mushrooms, so it's a really bad example. Oh, God. This whole thing's falling apart. I guess what I'm saying is I want you to think of this podcast as a little break for you. Even if you have no time any of the rest of the week and everything's too much and it's all falling on top of you, when you go for your Sunday walk, hopefully, and you listen to this podcast, I want you to think of it as like just a little space for you to just be, where you don't have to do. You don't have to, I just wanted to say the word doobie because I said do and be. A place where you don't have to do. You can just be. You can just be, and that is enough.